get some nuggets from other people. All right, happy Friday. Welcome to Survive to Thrive. Uh, I am going to start with Charlene because she's in the top left corner of my Zoom box here. Charlene, here's what I want you to do. And I just want you to, you're having a buyer conversation or a seller conversation. Tell me what that sounds like. Now, we're completely winging this. We're creating scripts as we go. Don't worry about nailing it. It's not about that. It's about getting you in the habit of having those conversations and also the opportunity to learn from others. All right, Charlene, you're up.
Hi, John. It's an honor and a privilege to meet with you today to discuss the possibilities of the purchase of your next home.
Yeah.
So, right now, let me just ask you a few questions is this buyer consultation? Just to
So here's
see.
what I want you to do. I want you to skip right to the part where you're explaining how agents are compensated, how you as the agent representing the buyer is compensated, in order to be able to get a signed buyer agency agreement. The goal of the conversation is to get a signed buyer agency agreement, right? And part of the process is explaining compensation. That's the part I want you to go to.
So, John, right now, the way realtors are being paid right now, are being compensated right now is that the buyer is responsible for the for compensating their agent who represents them.
Hmm.
Um, My job is to get the listing agent to agree upon paying at the most 3% the of buyer's concessions.
Okay, let's pause right there. Charlene, I'm so proud of you. I really am. That was not easy, was it? I'm going to come back to you. So you're going to have another opportunity. Jacqueline, let's go.
All right, so what I'd like to explain to you is how I'm compensated for all the services that I've just explained that I provide as your buyer's representative. Now, with the NAR, there's been new changes and new compliance. August 16th and moving forward, things have changed. Sorry, my throat's like a little funny today. Formerly, our compensation was disclosed in the MLS, which it no longer is. Sorry, John, I'm just having an issue today.
You're okay.
I'll get there. I'm just having an issue today. So it was displayed in MLS and no longer is. Moving forward, there's a few options of me getting paid. It either can come from you, it could come from the seller, it could come from the listing agent, could do a co-brokerage split of her.
Let's pause right there. Jacqueline, I'm pausing because I know you're struggling.
Sorry, I'm not feeling well at all. And I was like, that's why I was on mute. I'm so sorry. Put me on the spot.
Really proud of you for being here, okay? All right, Raul, you're up.
Hey, good morning, everyone. This is my first class with all of you here.
You're good.
So I will start with hi. So I wanted to educate you about the shift that is happening in the market today. And earlier, the commissions were more open-ended and being paid potentially by seller, and buyer could have also paid it. Now, with the regulatory shift that's coming in, it's mandated that the buyer pays commission for the buyer agent so that the balance is established in the market, and likewise, seller pays for the seller agent. So this is fair and square as per the new regulations, and this shift means that there are new norms that have come in play. And as part of that, it is mandated that we sign this, potential buyer agreement to formalize our relationship, and let's get started.
All right, Raul, nice job. Nice job. Thank you for jumping in there. I know it's uncomfortable, guys. That's part of the exercise. All right, Carla, talk to us.
All right. So as I've already explained, and you have seen um, all the things that I'm going to be doing for you as your buyer's agent, let's discuss, how my fee is paid for this, right? So there are a couple of different ways that that I can be compensated. So one, I can be compensated from you, my buyer, and this is our agreement. And another way I can be compensated is asking the seller to compensate me for my services. And then sometimes the listing agent will share their compensation. Now, how we will know these things will be each property that we go to tour. Before we tour the property, I am going to ask the listing agent, is their compensation being offered? And then they're going to let me know if it is such. So then I am going to correspond with you and see if you are still in agreement with seeing this property. So that's how we'll move forward in this process.
All right, Carla, nice job. Emma, coming to you.
Good morning. So we've obviously just discussed how the whole relationship and how I'm going to represent you going forward in this transaction will work. So let's kind of address the changes that have recently happened. Are you aware of those changes?
Yes, I've heard a little bit.
Okay, good. Well, traditionally, we have always been compensated as agents, and I'm sure you agree that as much as I love my job, I don't want to work for nothing, and I can't work for nothing. So traditionally, we have always been paid. The seller in this market has offered our compensation fee that we have split between the brokerages. Going forward, we're no longer allowed to do that. It has to be seller to broker. And we are now relying on all of these listing agents to encourage their seller to still continue to offer that fee. However, it will not be visible like it once was in the MLS. So it is upon us as agents to investigate and find out what that may look like. Now, in this changing market, and the media and everybody else that's been involved in this, they've kind of set the precedence now that maybe sellers do not need to pay our fee any longer. We would hope, and us as listing agents would still encourage our seller to do so, to bring the best offer to the table, to have a transaction that closes in a fast and smooth way and would bring us the best possible offer. But we can't guarantee that anymore. And as I said, as much as I love my job, I don't really want to have to work for free. And then in which case I would look to you, the buyer, to compensate me. Now, that can happen in many different ways. It could come obviously out of pocket. There may be an opportunity to build that into your loan. And you also have the opportunity not to show these homes that are not offering any form of compensation. And that's obviously a conversation we would have as we set up these appointments.
Okay, Emma, pause right there. Well done. Good job. Crystal, coming to you.
Hi. So moving forward, buyers agents have been, well, traditionally they were compensated through the seller offering a fee, and they still can offer a fee to the buyer to help pay for the buyer's agent commission. But it is completely optional what they decide to do. And therefore, in order for me to work with you, I need you to fill out a form going forward, that you would sign this and agree to compensate me from your proceeds, whether it is coming from you directly or from the seller giving you concessions.
Okay, pause right there. Well done, Crystal. Proud of you. Sean, you're up.
Hey, John, you know what? I am excited to talk about this next part of the buyer's rep, and that's my compensation. So I know we're likely going to show you new homes and resales. So in the past, the listing brokerage would actually pay the buyer's brokerage's fee, or pay my fee. And with the NAR settlement, that's been decoupled. So there's three ways that it can be paid. It can be paid by my fee, could be paid, which is going to be 3%, is going to be paid by the seller, could be paid by you, or a mix mash of the two, right? So the three ways that we can do it. If we go to a new build, right, a new construction, and they're offering 4 or 5 or even 6%, then we would have another conversation about either adding that in or splitting it up in the purchase of your, maybe I get 4 and then you get the other 2. We just have a new conversation, amend the contract so that both of us as a party get some of that compensation. It just doesn't go back to the seller.
Okay, pause right there. You're doing great, and I have a question. So when you're saying the builder is offering 4%, 5%, they're offering 5% in concessions, period, or they're offering 5% to the agent who's representing the buyer?
For this particular conversation, we're talking only about compensation to the buyer's agent. The builder may have additional incentives for you to buy the home. Okay. And once we find out what the commission is, if it's 3%, we just keep going. But the way the settlement is set up, I can't accept more than what is in this contract that you're about to sign. This buyer's representation.
John, can I jump in and say something here that I think could help out?
Jacqueline, please.
Sorry. So listen, so you can put on your buyer's agency paperwork. I can't think today. I'm sorry.
Agency
buyer's rep.
Yeah, you could put, if I show you a new construction, my commission is 6%. If I show you a resale, my commission is 3%. There's no reason that you should have to give up part of your commission or renegotiate, because at that point you can modify this document, but the thing is you can only modify it to go down. You can't modify it to go up. So what I would say is explain to this buyer, hey, we're going to look at both new construction and resale. Now, in this document, I cannot increase my commission. But sometimes, because I have a great relationship with the builder and I've sold so many homes, or they have bonuses, I'm entitled to a higher commission. And with new construction, you're not going to pay me either way. So we're going to put, if it's new construction, my commission is this. And if it's resale, my commission is this. Because like you said, that difference, that overage will go back to the builder. It won't go to your buyer. And not for nothing, if they don't have to pay you in this market with the way things are, don't give your money up. Please don't give your money up.
Jacqueline, okay, that was good. Thank you for adding that. Sean, thoughts?
What's that?
Continue. What are your thoughts on that?
You know what? All the conversations I've had with my broker, everybody has said that the renegotiation of the buyer's compensation in terms of what it is can be amended. That's it. It can go up, it can go down, as long as both parties agree that this is the new commission, then that's it. Okay. So I'm in Texas. Yeah. So it could be a little bit different here.
Yeah, let's put a pin in that right there, because there might be some different rules in different states. And all of you, everything you're hearing here, if you have any questions, go to your broker. Make sure you get clarification on this. I had one more camera, but somebody jumped. So I'm going to start writing your names down when you guys come in here. So
Noah. I was hoping to.
All right, Sean, I want you to give Noah a hard time, because if he lost his signal, that's cool. But if he tuck tail and run, that's not okay. I'm not saying he did. I'm going to get myself in trouble here. All right, here's my first aha. Is this harder than you thought it was going to be? Yeah. Yeah. Would you rather struggle here or struggle sitting in a room, conference room, having a buyer consultation with an agent?
Oh, here all day.
Here all day. Yeah.
So here's what I would like for you guys to do. I'm going to put this on our Survive to Thrive Facebook page. What I want you to do is watch the recording, take the parts that you liked, and create a bullet point conversation just around this part. Create a bullet point conversation. I want you to put it on paper. That's the old school person showing up. I'm sorry, nobody does anything on paper anymore. I want you to create a PDF. How's that? And I want you to email me a copy of that. It's coachjohndeets@gmail.com. Right? I want to see what this looks like, guys. I want you to work on this so that when you're sitting down in actual appointments, you've got the confidence that you're going to crush this. All right.
So can I say something? So this, obviously on Monday, you tasked me with in our coaching call video. And the video I recorded this morning is literally about this. So it's kind of interesting that we've now covered it. But from my video, I have created like a frequently asked questions sheet as well. So I was planning to post that today anyway.
Can you put a copy of that on our Survive to Thrive page?
No, I wasn't going to do that.
All righty, you don't have to. Sorry, awkward.
It's okay.
I apologize. Very well done, though, by the way, and I'm proud of you. Thank you for doing your homework. Can I share with you what it would sound like if I were having this conversation?
Please.
All right, I'm winging it, just like some of us did. And I can tell, you know, some of us have worked on it a little bit, and it's so hard, right? All right, so we're at the compensation part of the buyer consultation. I'm going to go with Raul. I always have to have somebody that I'm speaking to. So Raul, the next thing we're going to talk about is compensation. And ideally, my fee for representing you will be paid by the seller. Now, let me explain a little bit more. Prior to the NAR settlement, 100% of the time, that's the way that I got paid. After the NAR settlement, there are no longer fees that are going to be posted in the MLS. Now, that doesn't mean that a seller can't compensate the buyer's agent for representing the buyer in the sale of the property. It's just being done now as the seller's concession. And in completing this buyer agency agreement that we're working on, my fee, and I have to include my fee in this agreement, my fee is 3% to represent you for the value that I bring in finding you the right house at the right price with the right terms, getting you to the closing table with the least amount of problems on the path to that closing table. Now, my goal is to have that fee covered by the seller through a seller's concession. However, there's going to be properties that we look at where the seller is not offering an offer of compensation to the buyer's agent. Now, we could still write an offer on that, and just because they're not offering an offer of compensation to the buyer's agent doesn't mean that we can't write an offer with my compensation being covered by the seller, which is exactly how we would do it, Raul. So we're still, even if they're not offering that 3%, we're going to ask for it. Now, in the case that a seller digs in their heels and is not willing to offer a compensation through a concession, we have a couple choices. One of the choices are we can move on to another property. The other choice would be you would be responsible for covering my cost. Now, we can either do that out of pocket or we can do that as part of the loan.
This sounds expensive, John. Potentially 3% bill, right, coming right to me. So how can we work to avoid that and see that I get the best home with, you know, the concessions being passed from the seller?
You know, nobody else had overcome any objections. Why do I have to? Raul, I totally understand. Here's the thing. The bottom line is you get the right price, the right home at the right price with the right terms, correct?
Right.
Right. And because of my experience and the value that I bring, I'm confident that I'm going to be able to get you that house at the right price. Now, if I'm able to get you, let's talk about the right price. If I'm able, because I'm a fierce negotiator, to get you that house at 2 or 3% less than a less experienced agent would, and you're covering my fee, right? And if my fee is 3%, yeah, I can get you that house for 3% less than a less experienced agent would. Is it costing you more money to work with me?
No.
Okay, now if you're asking me if my fee is negotiable, which you are, the answer is yes. When we make an offer on a home, if I need to give up money in order to make the deal work, I will, because I'm a deal maker, not a deal breaker. And the good news for you is you have 100% control of this. You're not going to pay me a dime unless I deliver on my promise.
Let's sign, John.
All right. That was winging it. I hope it was okay.
Yeah, that's good.
All right. Thoughts, questions, feedback before we jump? Talk to me. My next appointment is Crystal, and she's in the room. So if you're a few minutes late, forgive me.
I think you know, in this, for me at least, the making it as short as possible is the key, and just let them ask questions and then answer those questions.
Okay.
I don't know how short it can be. There's a lot to cover, but that's my goal, is to make it short.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree.
Yeah.
Guys, keep talking. I have to go grab the door. Sorry.
Yeah. And just taking Q out of it, right? And I think the short part should be about the impact that it is going to have on the buyer, right?
Yeah.
And also on the seller, depending on who we are talking to. So I think a lot of our conversations had the mention of, it's going to be listed in MLS versus not. I think most of the first time home buyers and sellers potentially don't even know what MLS is.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
I was in a
Yeah.
Go ahead, Sean. Sorry.
Oh, well, no, I mean, and so when I say short and have them ask questions, I think it's a way of establishing how to move forward. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to call the agent. If there's zero compensation, what do you want to do? We'll still see the home. We want to make an offer. I'll bake my commission in, but get the buyer, the client, to make a decision, one that they can go back on what they want to do at that time, to avoid steering. So if they're like, oh, well, I don't want to see any home that isn't offering buyer agent compensation. Okay, your fiduciary just told you something, right? Does that mean we don't act on that? No, it means we act on that. Doesn't mean that we don't call or any of those things, but get them to talk more, get them to tell us what they want to do.
I agree with you.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I agree with you. I was in a Florida Realtors webinar for like 4 hours last week about this. And I didn't agree with the fact that they were recommending to give the buyer the option to put in language that the buyer requests to only see homes where the agent's compensation is being paid. And I thought that did a great disservice to the buyer, because there potentially could be, like John said, I think what he said was phenomenal. We should still see everything. You're in control. You make the choice. So that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, and in Texas, when I've had these conversations with agents and with broker types, let's say, part of the strategy is to say no. There could be sellers out there that are like, yeah, we'll give 3%, but let's not offer it right up front. So, making the offer doesn't mean just because if the list agent's fiduciary tells them don't offer it up front, it doesn't mean that it means they can't, but it doesn't mean that there's no commission going to be offered if one is asked for through a contract. So to me, it's like the list agent says, no, they're not offering anything. Okay, well, we're going to go see the home, but we're going to ask for commission in the contract, period, end of story. So if you don't want us to see it, tell us now. and then the seller can say, yeah, don't have them come. If they want commission, then don't have them come. Then we throw it back on them.
Okay.
Hey, John, this is Gilbert. I have my camera off. I think I'm at the gym in the morning, but I'd like to say all through July, I've had 4 buyer rep agreements signed all through the new form.
Mhm.
And like Sean mentioned, keep it simple.
Mhm.
To the fact, keep it simple and say it with confidence.
Yep.
And I haven't had any kickback at all whatsoever.
Yeah.
In fact, I've gotten the response of absolutely, you should earn 3%.
Yeah.
And then I also, because a lot of builders in the area are offering bonuses, I plant that seed ahead of time. And I tell them, hey, listen, sometimes if we go to look at new construction, they may offer a bonus. And in the event they offer a bonus, then we'll just sign a simple amendment allowing that specific dollar amount. And they're like, cool. And I have ran into 2 builders that were offering 4%. And since the seed was already planted, when I presented that to them, they were completely fine. And nowhere did they ask for any of that. I just feel if you kind of plant that seed ahead of time, that if you're like, hey, if the builder's offering a bonus, we'll decide how we're going to use it. Guess what? They're gonna want a portion of that every time.
Guys, Gilbert, that was great. Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for jumping in here and speaking, because I think you added a lot of value. Raul, I just added you to the group, so you're in, my friend. Here's what I'm hearing, man. A lot of different opinions here, all really good. Do research based on where you are, because remember, there may be different opinions or documentation based on what broker you're with, or what state you're in. So continue to do your research. Do your homework over the weekend. When you come back on Monday, I hope that I should say, my expectation is that I will have received each of your bullet point buyer conversation around compensation that you're going to be having in the future. The reason I'm having you do this exercise is I want you to create something that is simple, like Gilbert said, confident, and something you can internalize so these conversations become very easy for you. All right, that's it. It's a wrap. You guys make it a great weekend.
See you all next week.
All right,
Take
bye,
care.
guys.
Guys.
Thank you. Have a great weekend.
Well, I'll see you on the huddle link. Okay.